What's up, guys? Back here with another video for you here. This is the second half of my symphonic and melodic black metal section here. It's basically the rest of it. It's the other bit of E all the way through, what is this, Y. So we're gonna kind of into it. I am listening to something a little different today. I have mixed emotions about this era of this band, but I have some of it, and for whatever reason it just jumped at me when I was, looking at the rack, figuring out what to play. This is some Catatonia with, what is it, Dead End Kings. It's cool stuff. It's weird. I don't know if I love it yet, but I do like it, and I've had this for a good long while, so I'll keep jamming it. It gives me kind of later Opeth atmosphere, so we'll see. All right, let's get down to business. Beer again, Centennial IPA by Founders. A little bit of Michigan brew. Had a taste for once in Australia. That's good beer. That's really tasty. All right, so I have no clue how to pronounce this. Skirgament or something like that. Something very, very Swedish. This is a really dense 90s sounding melodic black metal record done by what was originally supposed to be what is the word? Anonymous, and it is members of Stilla and Ethereal performing the stuff on here. So it's a really big deal to have like such a good Swedish powerhouse collection of musicians, I would say. Yeah, it's just really 90s melodic black metal. Next, Mythical Beasts in Medieval Warfare by Herasyra. I recently talked about this in my Metal Threat update, I believe it was. I picked this up pretty cheap, and this is one of those bands that has the potential to be really good, but broke up before they could get to be really, really awesome. But nonetheless, it's a pretty good record. I think the demo might be a little bit better, which I don't own because it's only ever been on tape, and it's kind of hard to get a hold of. So I'm definitely going to keep this around, but they're from Latvia, out in Demolition, the one and only press. Cool stuff. Next, a little bit in the proggy end, more avant-garde. Spirit of Ecstasy by Imperial Triumphant. This one made lots of waves last year, I think it was, or maybe the year before. No, it was last year. Yeah, 2022. There's the album cover. This is a wild, wild album. I hated this when I first heard it, but upon revisitation, I became very impressed. It's kind of a hard one to just briefly speak about, other than imagine everything plus the kitchen sink and maybe the entire bathroom thrown at you at once inside of an extreme metal record. All right, I talked about this one in my recent appearance on Heavy Metallurgy back in, I think it was June. So Elkageist by Kvistlageist or something like that. Some Icelandic black metal with the giant surfing red baby holding a Twizzler on it. Storming an entire town or something, I don't know, or those horse people. This is a really good melodic black metal album with lots of like thrashy touches and a lot of weird melodic tendencies, as you might imagine from an Icelandic band. I feel like that's like a staple of the Iceland scene, is you just sound super out there. Next, A Bliss to Suffer by The Legion. I picked this up off of, actually no, I got this from a buddy for Christmas a couple of years ago. It's on Unlistenable Records. This is just like a random one in the middle of their catalog, and I really haven't listened to this in a while, but I remember liking it when I heard it last. I saw some Associate X to Mardukes and stuff like that, and I don't know, that's not really my style, but from what I remember I liked it, so I'll put it on the player again sometime relatively soon, whenever the mood hits me. This is a blind buy from one of my old local shops, Linkcell, with the album Solace. Out in the year 2000. This is a progressive black metal band from Norway. They're really, really good. Like, really good. If you guys haven't heard this one and you like proggy black metal that's not like, Enslaved, I like Enslaved, but this is a little bit more black metal than their latter prog era is. So this is a good record if you want to dip your toes into prog black metal while still maintaining a lot of old school tendencies. Lengsel, Lengsel, from Norway. Super hyped to have this. This is Tarnet by Malignant Eternal. I am a huge fan of this album. This is one of my favorite Norwegian black metal albums of all time. It is a bit of a hard listen, but it is just absolutely dynamite, man. One of the coolest logos ever, too, with this giant dragon in the background. I'm a sucker for it, and dude, I don't know. I really like this one. It's creepy, it's dark sounding, it's really raw, but raw in a good way, and that's kind of what I dig so much about it. It's raw in like the dark adversary sense, where it fits really well with the style as opposed to just being intentionally bad sounding. Just so good. Melodic, raw black metal. If you like Moonblood but want it to sound more Norwegian, that's it. This one is Wild, Vacuum Solution by Misarthum. This is one of the most original metal bands I could think of that's debuted in the past 15 years. This is just a random EP in the middle of the catalog. If you're not familiar, this guy mixes like electronic spacey synth music with black metal, and he uses like EDM influence, and that sounds like something I would hate. Absolutely thought I would hate, but I really like it a lot, dude. He uses a bunch of like the build-up techniques that you hear in electronic music and dancehall music, and he creates a really good sense of tension and release within the music. It's a really interesting band. Check out Misarthum, and if my way of describing it sounds like it would put you off to it, I thought the same thing. I thought I would hate it too. So definitely check this out if you have never heard Misarthum. It's a really interesting listen. Next, Piercing Through the Frozen Eternity by Moonlight Sorcery. I had to pick this guy up. I picked this up before the Hype Machine got a hold of it. I don't remember what happened. I think I got it recommended to me on YouTube and heard one song and went to click, went to Bandcamp, picked it up, and I pre-ordered it actually. I think I just bought it off the single because I was so impressed. Obviously you guys have heard this. It's very like power metal, 80s metal touched melodic black metal from Finland. They put out another EP last year too. Wasn't as impressed with it. This is where it's at. Witchcraft by Obtained Enslavement. This is a must-have, dude. Absolute must-have. Side project of some of the dudes from Gorgoroth, if I remember right. This is way more interesting than anything Gorgoroth ever did, as far as I'm concerned. It's creepy, it's eerie, it's uncomfortable. It's a really cool album. Next, Aranzi Pazuzu with, I have no clue how to pronounce that. This band is another one of the most original metal bands I could think of. Psychedelic tinged, almost jam sounding black metal, like Noctimistium with a Finnish weirdness to it, and without Blake Judd, so that's usually a good start. Just really cool band. Really interesting logo too. That's not just a bird. It literally says Aranzi Pazuzu within the wingspan. Really cool. Gotta have it. Born of the Flickering by Old Man's Child. Some of the greatest melodic black metal of all time. This is a mainstay on my winter playlist. Just something you gotta really like sit there and listen to. It's great for snowy drives. It's just top shelf. Another one in that camp, Nord by Ethereal. Swedish melodic black metal, really blasty, really fast. This is just a classic in the Swedish scene. You must own if you're a big black metal fan. Next, Stormkeep with Galdrum, the first EP from this band. Obviously the side project of Blood Incantation. Really cool stuff. This one's not as realized quite yet as the next one is. This is a really cool little EP though. I had to pick it up. I think I picked this up off of Out of Season. I don't think they'll have copies left, or I don't know how well this has been kept in press. This is out of Van Records. That's who put this one out, so I don't know. Next, Tales of Other Time, the box set, or not box set, the like special slipcase box limited to 999 copies. I have number 630. Super dorky stuff. I actually kind of like this slipcase, but why would you ever want to cover this up? Amazing album. This one, again, Hype Machine was absolutely crazy on this one, but nonetheless, I really did have to get this one. It's undeniably everything that makes black metal awesome, as far as I'm concerned, all in one great package. So I can't argue with the Hype Machine on this one, dude. And you guys know I avoid that absolutely always. I guess not always, because I just showed you a Stormkeep album. Anyway, a Skirgament with the, Oskugmung with the album Passover, sorry. This is a Latvian black metal band. One of two I showed in here. Harry Asire, or whatever, is also Latvian. This is great. This reminds me a lot of maybe Eastern European sounding Emperor. Style-wise, if that sounds really good to you, it is. This is out on Harbin Music and limited to 500 copies. I picked this up as a blind buy at one of my old local shops as well. Good stuff, cool to own. This one might be a little bit misplaced in the genres, but this is Le Sacrifice d'Ymir by Volknot. This is a melodic death, melodic black metal band with some folk metal tinges. I probably could put this in my folk metal section, but it's great stuff. I mean, it's very enjoyable. It's blackened enough to be in this section, I think. It's more blackened than Fintroll, but it kind of reminds me of somewhere between a Monomarth, Fintroll, and maybe like some random Finnish black metal bands. I don't know. Volknot. Here's the other Volknot album I have, which is Chance de Gear, I don't know. I really haven't spent much time with this one. These do look like bargain bin folk metal albums, but they're way better than that. I mean, there's a lot of really good stuff in those bargain bins. You know, if you look on like CDN Records and go check out the folk metal section, there's a lot of really good stuff in there. What do we got here? Vargrov with Reign in Supreme Darkness. The Return of the Emperor Worship, straight off the bat. Another one of my favorite logos ever, even though it's upside down. Really good stuff. Really densely melodic, creepy sounding old school black metal. This is probably the better of the two. This is Netherstorm, but with a less awesome album cover, but a really cool band photo because it's super dweeby. Oh, this is just Finnish sounding Emperor, man, to a T. Absolutely great stuff. You guys know what's up with Vargrov, I'm sure by now, out of Werewolf Productions. Next, a band I was obsessed with for a long time. Haven't listened to them much lately, but I still love them. It's Woods of Ypres with Woods 4. I need to get the other Woods of Ypres stuff because I really do like this band a whole lot. R.I.P. to Dave Gold, obviously. This is my favorite Woods album, as you would probably guess by it being the only one that I'm showing here. Everything I Touch Turned to Gold is like the song that I was literally singing in my head earlier today without hearing this album in a couple of years. I Was Buried in Mount Pleasant Cemetery is like a major hit as far as earache goes these days. Dynamite kind of mixture of Typo Negative and maybe black metal. That's kind of like in this section because I really didn't know where else to put it, to be honest with you. And the last one for today is Ymir with the self-titled album. They released a new album last year, which I never actually bothered listening to, but this album is great. This is a melodic Finnish black metal album with kind of like pagan black metal tendencies to it, I would say. Really cool though. It's more melodic black metal than anything. Just a really good stuff. Check out Ymir if you're not. Alright, so I'm gonna call it at that one. On this one, actually that was it. This is the last of the black metal. So after this, we're going to be going into Dungeon Synth, and then there on out, it'll be Thrash. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll catch you all in the next one. Keep it greasy.